To center a large piece of clay, I change my hand positions from this position that I've always used to this position. And mainly it's because of the rotation of the wheel will draw this right hand in better, keep it attached to the wheel. We can pull hard against that curve and push it down the same way as usual. Take it up. And down. I think I have a little too much clay here to make a big bowl, so I'm going to throw a few of those Teabowls off the top of this pot, off the top of this clay, or off the hump, as they say. So I'll center just the top of this a few times, and then measure this little ball of clay here. The secret here is to squeeze this clay here, right at the base there. Make sure that just squeeze a little bit, otherwise you're liable to get a spiral crack in there when you tool a foot. Nice thing about this is if you need more clay for the size of the pot, you can always go down go down a little farther and pick some more up. And these little Teabowls are nice to throw because they're small enough you can play around with them easily without knocking them over, adding texture, taking out texture. And they're cut off with just a piece of string laid right in the groove, and just hang on tight and it'll come right off in your hand. And you can do another one any size you want. You don't have to make them all the same size. Leave enough clay to put a foot on these Teabowls. Sometimes when you're working like this, you get an idea and you can take several whacks at the same idea. You know, if you decide you want an accent here or there, if you want to do a double thing like that, it's fun to make, you know, a half a dozen of these kind of things with that same idea in mind. And that's how you gradually learn to make interesting pots. Mark it with your fingernail, lay the string in there and just hang on until it cuts itself off, and set it down. You have to make sure the clay is centered right through to the middle of the piece of clay. Squeeze it. You can really get involved in throwing these little Teabowls, and they make great glaze tests as well. And I always like to use these for glaze tests. In case I get a great glaze, then I have a nice little Teabowl. If I get a great glaze on a slab of clay, it doesn't do me any good at all. So I like to use these as glaze tests. Different textures, different things on the side. Make for interesting little pots. And you'll soon pick out a favorite to drink your coffee or your tea. It doesn't have to be exactly centered. Just add a little character to these pots. And go back and sort of round it off. Never be quite round again, but that's what makes it interesting.